year ones, we've been working on sitting in our different groups, reading our books. Now, remember, because we're kind of mimicking that sort of silent reading kind of mood, what we're going to do is we're going to all be in different positions to start our song. So you might be sitting reading a book like this. Really important, if you're sitting facing the front, that your hands are down low, because if your hands are here, your parents won't be able to see your beautiful faces. You need to make sure that you can be seen. So you can go down low, or you could turn your body to the side, maybe put your back on the back of the person next to you, and you could read your book like this. So the audience can still see me, kind of, when I'm reading my book like that. Or maybe you might have chosen to lie down. Put your legs crossed like that and read your book like that. I did notice a couple of people even laid down on their back and read the newspaper like that. So they're reading a big book. Whichever position you prefer and whichever position you are able to get up from quickly is really useful. Really important that in your groups you haven't got everyone all in the same position, unless you're doing something that's very heavily posed, like for example, everyone with their heads in the middle or something like that. Making sure also that every part of our body is not touching someone else in a way that's unexpected. So making sure that our feet aren't touching people's heads, for example, that's a big one. So we start off by reading our book silently. The music starts, and it's not until the characters start to sing that we begin to move. So music starts, then we have reading our book is such a fun thing. In that time, you need to have gotten up and ready and standing. The number one thing I like to do. Now we're going to put our hands in this position like, what do you want to do? And we're going to stand up on one leg. And then for me too, we're going to shrug. Me too. Yeah, I suppose I do like that too. Yeah. So we're going to start in our reading positions, everyone down in your groups. We stay in our groups when we get up, right? Reading a book is such a fun thing. The number one thing I like to do. Me too. Then we've got you meet new faces, see new places. So for meet new faces, what we're going to do is we're going to show off our beautiful faces. You could go forward, you meet new faces. Or you could go to the side, you meet new faces. Make sure that your face can be seen. So if the person in front of you is going to step in the same direction, make sure you're stepping in a different direction so that everyone can be seen. You meet new faces, see new places. You're never bored or lonely. With a story, if you'll only, we're going to tiptoe around into a big circle, making sure it's nice and big so that we can move around the stage at a nice rapid pace and not have a traffic jam. So we're going to tiptoe into a circle without touching anyone, making sure there's plenty of room. You're never bored or lonely with a story if you'll only. And it'll be really effective if we can have our arms in kind of a neutral position. So we're not going too out, just by our sides, maybe even our fingers in will look really nice. We're never bored or lonely with a story if you'll only. Once we're in our big circle, we're going to start our ride. All right? Have a go up till that point so we end up in the circle, because I want to see you end up in a nice, neat circle. Have a go with the music. Everyone in position.
It's as easy as A, B, C.
Sitting on line down.
That's the alphabet.
Silently.
I know the alphabet. Exactly.
Getting
Reading
up.
a book is such a fun thing.
The number one thing.
Number one thing I like to do.
Leg up. Me too.
You meet
Meet
new faces.
Big smiles.
See new places.
See new places.
You're never bored or lonely with a story if you're lonely.
Alright, once we've stopped there, you're going to make an aeroplane ride. We're going to go around the circle. We're going to go clockwise around the circle. So check out which way you're going, making sure that everyone's going in the same direction around the circle. So we've got go along for the ride, let it draw you inside. Soon there's nowhere else that you'd rather be. You'll see. So we should have made a whole big circle around the room till we've ended up in the same position that we were before. Then we're going to go, a book is a friend, into the middle, from beginning to end. And then it's over, you'll be richer from the journey you took. You're going to spin into your places. So let's pretend that my place is this place over here. What I would end up doing is I'd make sure that I'm not going to bump into the people beside me, and I'm going to spin into that location from the journey you took, and then I should end up in my spot in my line. If you've forgotten which spot you are in the lines, get that sorted now. Maybe hit pause on the video, get your lines ready, see if you can remember that spot. That's a really important thing. It's a self-accountability thing. You need to remember where you stand. So your responsibility is to make sure you're standing in the right spot. Not such and such is in the right spot. You yourself are in the right spot. All right? Once you've got that handled, have a go with the music from the start up to this point. Everyone in position.
It's as easy as ABC.
Sitting or lying
That's the
down.
alphabet.
Silently
I know the
reading.
alphabet. Exactly.
Getting
Reading
up.
a book is such a fun thing.
The number one thing.
Number one thing I like to do.
Leg up. Me too.
You meet
Meet
new
new faces, big
faces.
smiles,
See new places.
see new places.
You're never bored or lonely with a story if you'll only go along for your ride. Let it draw you inside. Soon there's nowhere else that you'd rather be. You'll see, a book is a friend from beginning to end. And when it's over, you'll be richer from the journey you took.
So from the circle, you've gone, and when it's over, you'll be richer from the journey you took. You'll be cheering and high-fiving. You might even like to jump. I don't mind. However you like to cheer. Maybe you want to high-five the person next to you. That's okay. Make sure it's very quick though, because you've only got that one line to sort it out. So you'll be cheering and high-fiving. Neither flying nor skydiving is a bigger thrill. We're going to turn around on our spots. Bigger thrill than reading a book. We're going to sit down cross-legged again. All right. This time, however, instead of being all in different positions, we're in our spots and we're all sitting cross-legged, all reading our books. This is the point in time where Annie, Jack and Jonah will have a bit of a discussion with each other for about 16 counts. So we'll be waiting for those 16 counts. When we get to about count 12, we want to start to think about moving because the next part happens. See if you can go from the start of the piece of music up to here. Everyone in position.
It's as easy as ABC.
Sitting or lying
That's the
down.
alphabet.
Silently
I know the
reading.
alphabet. Exactly.
Getting
Reading
up.
a book is such a fun thing.
The number one thing.
Number one thing I like to do.
Leg up. Me too.
You meet
Meet
new
new faces,
faces.
big smiles,
See new places.
see new places.
You're never bored or lonely with a story if you'll only go along for your ride. Let it draw you inside. Soon there's nowhere else that you'd rather be. You'll see, a book is a friend from beginning to end. And when it's over, you'll be richer from the journey you took. You'll be cheering and high-fiving. Neither flying nor skydiving is a bigger thrill than reading
And
a
sit
book. It sounds wonderful.
All right, is a bigger thrill than reading a book? Now we're at this point where they've had their discussion. I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Start to get up. Sailors read the moon. Sailors read the stars. And we're going to do sailors read the distance between Jupiter and Mars. We're going to get our telescope out. Sailors read the distance between Jupiter and Mars. Sailors read the winds. We're going to all go to different sides. So if you're on this side of the lines, you're going to go that way. And if you're on this side of the lines, you'll go that way. So if I'm in the middle, I get to choose. I can go that way or that way, making sure that we've got about an even number on each side. All right? So we're sailors read the winds. We're going to blow away into that direction. Sailors read the winds. Or has it not occurred? If sailors read the sky, reaching up to the sky, they can read a word getting down. But not for very long. So stay on your feet. Maybe plant your hands on the ground, getting ready to move. Okay? See how you go from the music up to there. Everyone in position.
It's as easy as ABC.
Sitting or lying
That's the
down.
alphabet.
Silently
I know the
reading.
alphabet.
Exactly.
Getting
Reading
up.
a book is such a fun thing.
The number one thing.
Number one thing I like to do.
Leg up. Me too.
You meet
Meet
new
new faces.
faces.
Big smiles.
See new places.
See new places.
You're
Never
never
bored
bored
or
or lonely
lonely
with a story if you'll only go along for the ride. Let it draw you inside. Soon there's nowhere else that you'd rather be. You'll see, a book is a friend from beginning to end. And when it's over, you'll be richer from the journey you took. You'll be cheering and high-fiving. Neither flying nor skydiving is a bigger thrill than reading a book.
It sounds wonderful,
Reading a
but
book.
it also sounds really hard.
But it isn't, really.
Get ready to get up.
Sailors read the moon, sailors read the stars, sailors read the distance between Jupiter and Mars.
Winds.
Sailors read the winds, so has it not occurred? If sailors read the sky, they can read a word.
We're getting ready for a
That's true.
semicircle. Alright, so we've done sailors read the winds, so hasn't not occurred. If sailors read the sky, sailors read a word. After that, we get into our semicircle because Annie, Jonah and Jack are going to run into the middle to read their book. So we're going to surround them a little bit. So let's make a big semicircle. So I want to see a semicircle that starts all the way here at the front of the stage and goes all the way around the back where our big circle was before, and all the way to the other side at the front. Making sure that we've got plenty of room for Annie, Jack and Jonah to do their reading in the middle. Alright, so we go into our semicircle. I'm going to stand on this backdrop here. That's where I'm going to go, okay? So, we've got enough time to probably get there for reading a book, A, B, C, D. It's such a fun thing. E, F, G, the number one thing we like to do. We should all be in the semicircle by the time we get to the number one thing we like to do. Have a go with the music. Everyone in position.
It's as easy as ABC.
Sitting or lying
That's the
down.
alphabet.
Silently
I know the
reading.
alphabet.
Exactly.
Getting
Reading
up.
a book is such a fun thing.
The number one thing.
Number one thing I like to do.
Leg up. Me too.
You meet
Meet
new
new faces.
faces.
Big smiles.
See new places.
See new places.
You're never bored or lonely with a story if you'll only go along for the ride. Let it draw you inside. Soon there's nowhere else that you'd rather be. You'll see, a book is a friend from beginning to end. And when it's over, you'll be richer from the journey you took. You'll be cheering and high-fiving. Neither flying nor skydiving is a bigger thrill than reading a book.
It sounds wonderful,
Reading a
but
book.
it also sounds really hard.
But it isn't, really.
Get ready to get up.
Sailors read the moon, sailors read the stars, sailors read the distance between Jupiter and Mars.
Winds.
Sailors read the winds, so has it not occurred? If sailors read the sky, they can read a word.
We're getting ready for a
That's true.
such a fun thing. EFG, the number one thing we like to do. And
So the number one thing we like to do, hopefully we're all in our big semicircle. And then Jonah's going to sing, and there are others as well who'd like to read and to spell. We're going to, all of us, sway from one side to the other, including our arms. So we're going to go, and there are others as well who'd like to read and to spell. Then we're going to kind of tell each other, but we're not going to make any noise. We're going to silently go, telling you something, like telling you something. I've got some news, you know. We're talking to each other, but we're not actually talking out loud because Jonah's saying, I'll tell the quartermaster and the swaps, the mates and the cook. Jonah's going to tell everyone on the ship. So we're also going to tell everyone on the ship that we know how to read because it's a very amazing skill to have. So we're going to tell everyone, how cool is it? I read this book the other day. I read about Batman. I read about Barbie. You know, all those sort of things. You've got different stories to tell, but we're going to do it without saying a word. All right. Then, friends, if we can sail the ocean, reading tidal waves in motion, we're going to all sway this way. Friends, if we can sail the ocean, reading tidal waves in motion, then it should be simple reading a book. We're all going to just hold our books. Right. So we're all reading our books. Once we're there, after reading tidal waves in motion, friends, if we can sail the ocean, reading tidal waves in motion, then it should be simple reading a book. Once we're there, you'll be reeling, you'll be jigging. We're going to leap. You'll be reeling, you'll be jigging. We'll be going the other way. We'll be whistling in the rigging. With your sails at overflowing, we're all going to lean to that end of the semicircle. With your sails at overflowing, we'll be yah-haring and yo-hoing over to the other side of our semicircle. With the very thought of knowing that you're going to be, we're going to go in towards Annie, Jack and Jonah. With the very thought of knowing that you're going to be, you might want to read over the shoulder of Annie, Jack and Jonah. Imagine that they're there. If you're at the front, you might be kneeling down. Maybe you're reading your own book. I don't know, but we're all going to stop reading our book. We're going to end up all crowded around Annie, Jonah and Jack. Maybe you're listening to the story of Annie, Jonah and Jack. See how you go. Everyone in position.
it's as easy as ABC.
Sitting all lined
That's the
out.
alphabet.
Silently
I know the
reading the book.
alphabet.
Exactly.
Getting
Reading
up.
a book is such a fun thing.
The number one thing.
Number one thing I like to do.
There you go. Me too.
You meet
Meet
new
new faces,
faces.
big smiles,
See new places.
see new places.
You're never bored or lonely with a story if you'll only go along for your ride. Let it draw you inside. Soon there's nowhere else that you'd rather be. You'll see, a book is a friend from beginning to end. And when it's over, you'll be richer from the journey you took. You'll be cheering and high-fiving. Neither flying nor skydiving is a bigger thrill than reading a book.
It sounds wonderful,
Reading a
but it
book.
also sounds really hard.
But it isn't, really.
Get ready to get up.
Sailors read the moon. Sailors read the stars. Sailors read the distance between Jupiter and Mars.
Winds.
Sailors read the winds. So has it not occurred? If sailors read the sky, they can read a word.
We're getting ready for a
That's true.
semicircle.
Reading a book, ABC, such a fun thing. EFG, the number one thing we like to do. And there are others as well who'd like to read and to spell. I'll tell the quartermaster and the swaps, the mates and the cook. Friends, if we can sail the ocean, reading tidal waves in motion, then it should be simple reading a book.
LMNOP.
feeling you'll be jigging, we'll be whistling in the rigging. With your sails that overflowing, we'll be yawning at your hoeing. With the very thought of knowing that you're going to be reading a book.
And read your book.
J-O-N.
Maybe you're following along with Jonah.
Jonah. Jonah.
Fantastic. All
That's
right.
my name.
If you got
I
through
just
all of
heard
that,
my name.
year one, give yourselves a big clap.